Hello, and welcome to a new show and tell from me. My name is Peter, and today we'll be looking at the NTH Azores and the NTH Antilles. These are part of the NTH Tropics line. First of all, a little bit back history about this. The NTH Tropics line was inspired by the compressor case diving watches, which had their glory days back in the late 50s and 70s. And what are these, you may ask? Well, they were watches that were built. Well, there was one case a person who built cases, who made these special cases, which he then sold out to different watch companies, well-known watch companies, and they all then, put their own movements and face dial on, and that kind of thing. Now, the good thing about this case, the compressor case watch, was that it had a very ingenious way of solving the diving issue with pressure. The back of the case was, well, the ingenious thing was that it had the deeper you went, the increased pressure then. Oh dear me, my English is messed up again. I'm sorry. The deeper you get, the increased pressure would then seal the case back even tighter. So the deeper you went, the better the seal was, and this eliminated the use or the need for a helium escape valve, because when you then ascended from the depth, the pressure would then lighten on the case back, and it would loosen itself, and the helium molecules could then escape. Hence, there's no need for a helium escape valve, and it didn't blow out the crystal, as was the problem before the helium escape valves and so on. So that was pretty ingenious. Anyway, back to the Azores and Antilles. First of all, I'd like to mention that these are not real super compressor dive watches, because they are dive watches, no doubt about that. They're depth rated to 200 meters, but they don't have the ingenious case back closing tightening system, which is okay, because these are homages to those good old days, to these watches. They are not copies. They're not trying to be something they're not. So it's that's fine with me. And as I said, they are depth rated to 200 meters. Some technical details on this. The steel is a 316L stainless steel. The movement is the Swiss STP111 automatic, which in essence is slightly better made ETA 2824-2. It has a power reserve of plus 44 hours. The crystal is a flat sapphire. The case size is 40 millimeters without the crown. It is 48.5 millimeters lug to lug. The height is 12.2 millimeters. The case material again it's a 316L, brushed with polished bezel, as you can see here. Beautiful. The strap, stainless steel beads of rice, as they call this. It also comes with, or they also come with, an awesome vintage silicone rubber strap in what one would probably call a tropics style, vintage tropic style. This is also very well made, lovely material, very pliable and soft. So that's cool. Okay, back to the watches. Well, first off, I'd like to address the bezel on this watch, the bezel on the inside. Now, I'm a child of the 80s, and I grew up with bezels that were on the outside. As we all know, that's mostly what happens, and that looks awesome. So I had to get get used to the look of this. Because it doesn't, when you see it far away, it doesn't actually scream diving watch, but it is. And let me show you, for you guys who've not actually seen one of these before. It has a dive bezel. It's just inside the watch case. And that makes it pretty cool, because what happens when you dive is I'll do that while I talk. Let's say I was going diving now. I would turn, there we are, on the minute hand, and I'm ready to dive. So I tighten this, and had this been on a bezel on the outside, if I go down and bash this against a coral or something, or a wreck or whatever, and it won't, because they're unidirectional normally. They don't. I'm not going to, it's not going to be dangerous for me. I might lose dive time instead and come up earlier than I thought I would. So, but the good thing about this is, now this is tightened. Nothing is going to move that bezel, come hell or high water. I mean, if this bezel gets moved, then the watch is smashed, and you've probably lost your arm or a hand too. So this is absolutely the best and safest way of using a dive bezel. It's on the inside. I mean, there are other ways of locking bezels in place for outside bezels. There are different ways of doing that, but in essence, if it's inside the watch, it's definitely not going to move anywhere. So that's the good thing about bezels on the inside of watches, which is pretty cool. What else would I like to say? If I was asked to say one thing that I didn't like about these watches, I'd be hard pressed to. But the only thing I can think of is actually that they don't have drill-through case lugs. I would love that. Lots of other of NTH's watches have that. So I'm a little bit surprised that these don't, but they don't, and that's it. It makes it easier for us happy idiots to change the straps, and especially when you think that NTH actually provide you with this very cool vintage silicone strap. I would have thought they would have drilled the case back, so drilled through the lugs, so it's easier for us to change it. But there you have it. You can't have everything. While I'm talking, I'm just going to, I have something called bezel OCD. It's a horrible, disastrous sickness, which means I can't tolerate bezels that are out of alignment unless that you're diving, and I'm not. So back it goes. There we are. My bezel OCD is now pacified. So that's pretty much the only thing that I would like to change on this watch. Let's have a look at the case back. It's a beautiful old school bronze diving helmet. And this was also one of the telltales of the early compressor case diving cases, was that they had these on the back, and that was the way people could tell that these were actually serious dive watches. And these have it too, and it's beautiful. It really is. When I originally opened these up and took them out, and I saw this strap, I wasn't particularly chuffed by it. But what happened was they grew on me, and now I kind of like them. They do have a very cool, very vintage way of looking, and they grew on me, and that's really cool. I'll give you a wrist shot of them. There you go. It is all in all a very handsome watch, I must say, and it's extremely well made. Everything is just perfectly machined. They're all the minute details are just perfect, and I love that. I love reviewing watches like this because it's just such a pleasure. You see here on the crown. Oh, here comes a train, everybody. Thanks a lot, Danish Railways, for that. We'll just wait till it goes past. There, it's off again. Sorry about that, guys. My window's open, and Danish Railways decided to mess up my show and tell. Okay, back to the watch. As I was saying, every small detail is very, very, well machined. There are no shortcuts anywhere here. The bezel itself feels really, really well, good to move. There are no wobbles of any kind. It just feels very tight and precise, and I love that. I really do. The clasp is brilliant. Tight, precise again. No, everything is perfect. It has, and I love this on watches, dive watches. It has a what do you call it? Dive extension. Now, Now, I do dive, but dive extensions are not just for divers. As many of you probably already know, that you might as well call these I'm warm and sweaty extension, because that's essentially what most people use them for. Let's say and they're also really good at catching gloves. Awesome to that. Right, I'll see if I can just close without catching everything. There we go. Picture this. You're leaving in an airplane from Heathrow, and you're going to Mauritius. And everybody knows that when you get up in cruising altitude on a plane, you tend to swell up your ankles, your feet, and your hands, and wrists. And now we're not talking about elephantitis or anything like that, but everybody knows that you do swell up a bit, and that tends to bug a lot of people with their watches. But it's not necessary if you have a dive extension, because all you do is just take it 2 clicks out, 1 click out, and abracadabra, your watch again fits. So you land in Mauritius, and you get out in sort of a subtropic climate, warm and sweaty, and you instantly you swell up again, and that that's what the human body does until it gets used to it. That was a too difficult word. So and you just let it out another click, and it's really brilliant. It's an excellent way of and so even when you go back to London, and oh God, just put it back and it fits. It's brilliant. So these were generally meant for divers to be able to have the watch outside your wetsuit without having it down to the watchmaker to put on links and so on. But they just work really well with ordinary people in their ordinary everyday life. So that's why I initially like these a lot. All in all, these are awesome watches, very well built. I love the vintage look. I don't care that they're homage watches. Some of you guys out there don't like homage watches, and I find that really stupid. I mean, they're not trying to be something they're not. They are well made, well machined, quality watches for affordable prices. And how can one not like that? And they're beautiful. They really are, simply. So if you like the design and thinking about buying one of these, I can only say go ahead. You won't be disappointed. Actually quite the opposite. These are awesome watches, I must say. So from me, thumbs up to you guys from NTH for making another awesome watch line. Having said that, if you like the way I do my show and tells, please feel free to like and subscribe on Facebook, on YouTube, and so on. I would love for you to do that. And otherwise, have a good one, and I'll see you again on my next show and tell. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Peter out. Bye-bye.